I had to come out of hiatus on this one. Let me just say I had a wonderful summer. But anyway, there was a there was a comment that was left on one of my videos that's called Black Women's Lack of Respect for Black Men Part 2. And this comment was left by this YouTube user who goes by the name of M Schaefer 21, something like that. It's been a while since this comment's been up, but I didn't want to bother with responding to it. I wanted just to make a video on it. I did I did holler at him, and he did apologize for what he said. But it doesn't excuse the fact that there are a lot of white people who think this way about blacks. You know. And from my point of view, I can understand that, but at the same time, it's like, okay, this is how you feel about us. This is what we feel about y'all as well. I mean, it's there's a thing of nobody is an angel. You know, nobody is sin free. Everybody has made their mistakes. Everybody has flaws. Nobody is perfect. Everybody always want to put black people under a microscope. Always want to talk about what we're not or what we should be doing. But I'm like, dude, it's like when y'all do that, all you're doing is just contradicting yourselves because you guys do the same thing. I mean, just to be honest, there's some things that I do agree with what he said in the comment, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you have this to say about us, then I have this to say about y'all. And this is not a race, and this is not a racist rant because I just want to be clear. Attention, everybody, this will be a rant. I'm not being racist because if y'all consider what I'm about to say is racist, then you might as well consider what this guy stated as be racist. But he said he's just telling the truth. He's just keeping it real. So in turn, I would just say what I feel while keeping it real. All right. So for those who cannot read, I know that sounds cruel to say that, but this is what he left. This is the comment that he left. I posted in the info box, so if you guys want to read it, you can. But for those who don't want to read it, this is what he said. Quote, maybe you should listen to Reverend Manning when he laments that black people do not understand the world. There is something wrong with the black man's mind, Manning says. This video is proof positive of this, and he's talking about my video on black women's lack of respect for black men. Blacks complain about racism. Then they promote black power. Brother, you are stupid, stupid, stupid. If you think tribalistic human beings are going to willfully hand the spotlight of power to people who don't look, think, and act the same as them, be glad you are here and not in Africa. I will tell you straight from a white man's heart why we don't want black folks rising up. As you envision. 1, you make a mess of everything you do. 2, you are morally and intellectually bankrupt. 3, black people in their natural state are aggressive and violent, more so than any other stock. 4, because you don't know how to keep it in your pants. And let me guess, this is all because of the white man. Boo-hoo! Slavery is wrong, but it's little wonder you were enslaved so easily. Even in your worst poverty, you are far better off than people in Africa. And for this, you should be thankful. Is the white man keeping you down and out of real power? So what? Whites are no more going to let you run this place than the blacks in South Africa are going to let the whites run things there. Get it? Stop bitching and complaining and just worry about yourselves and your families. And for God's sake, start taking personal responsibility for yourselves. And one last thing before you start spouting off about how I am a racist, just remember this. A racist is someone who makes race a central focus when dealing with others. Black people think about being black 24/7. Seriously, folks, no other people group in this world is so preoccupied by the skin color as blacks. Take Obama, for example. You are so thrilled to have a black president that virtually ignore the terrible things he's planning. Blackness is a disease of the mind. Unquote. Cool. All right. That's what he had to say. So, in turn, this is what I have to say as well. And this doesn't apply to every white person, but to the white people who do believe this rhetoric that he spit, this is what I have to say. Okay. Uh well, first off, I have taken personal responsibility because I don't have kids out of wedlock, unlike some white people who do. I keep my privates in my pants and don't sling it around like white people who do. I have money in the bank and I own a home, unlike some white people who don't. And finally, I don't have a criminal record, unlike some white people who do. So spare me the lame, weak ass argument for somebody else. Now, when you say tribalistic human beings, I hope you're not talking about white people, because if you are, the so called people of power is the reason why the economy is not where it should be. Different races, including whites, had to foreclose on their homes. Businesses run by CEOs who are white fired other races of people, including other whites, and now they're out of a job trying to make it day by day. We had an idiot of a president for 8 years who couldn't do anything with the amount of time that he was in office, and he had a lot of time, and we're still fucked. Someone attacked our country, killing thousands of people in one day, one at a time. It was run by who? A white man. If the people who have the power were so great, then we wouldn't be so in debt to China. I don't know how many products. Correct me if I'm wrong, people. I don't know how many products I've seen where it said "made in China," "made in China." Where's the white man's power that he could manufacture his own damn products? Yeah, I'm thankful I'm here, but at the same time, I'm not going to be naive and act as if I don't have to worry about an ignorant person who want to generalize an entire race based on some negative stereotypes that he heard from the media. We make a mess of everything we do. Dog, I don't recall blacks owning BP and polluting our oceans, or companies that pollute our air and water. The ozone layer. I don't recall black people bombing buildings. I don't recall there ever being a black Timothy McVeigh. I don't recall black people owning ships that ships drugs into this country. I don't recall black people owning companies that make cigarettes, alcohol companies, and then sell them to people and kills them every day. Whites run this country, but at the same time, they're running it into the ground. And then they're not holding any accountability for themselves. White people are just as divided as blacks are. Your cultural differences. You have your Italians beefing with the Irish. You have Jews and the Christians. They have their differences. You have white liberals, white conservatives squawking at each other. Right wing, left wing nonsense. All of this at the same time. They're not offering any type of solution. They're just finger pointing. So don't even go there. All right, please. Whites have been known to be more aggressive in violence. White people were the ones who created tanks, nuclear missiles, any type of weapon that's been created, that's been used on the face of the planet, have been created by who? White people. White people hung and whipped their slaves. There are white people in jail, in prison for violence. Violence on other white people, on their own women, violence against blacks and other races of people. I mean, what's up with the German riots that they had this year? What about the Columbine shootings or other school shootings that was committed by white people? Oklahoma City bombing, hate crimes, bars, club fights. So as I said, white people, please look in the mirror before you criticize, because y'all do the same fucking thing. And then the comment about black people don't keep it in their pants. Yeah, that's true. Black people, yeah, of course we don't. Neither do you, neither does Hispanics, neither does Asians. I mean, my question to you is, how is it possible that white people are the majority in this country, or for that matter, the entire world? I mean, you guys don't keep your legs or your mouths closed. Hello? I mean, are y'all you saying we don't keep it on our pants? Are y'all just gonna sit here and ignore that Hispanics are the second largest ethnic group in this country? I mean, if you're saying that we're irresponsible and we don't keep it in our pants, are you gonna sit here and ignore that there are white men who are not taking care of their kids? You're gonna sit here and say to me that there's a 0% rate of white men who are deadbeat dads? For real? Come on, man. You got to keep it real. You guys don't keep it in your pants also, because if you did, then you wouldn't be the majority. And then when it comes to raising your kids, y'all raise kids who talk back at y'all, who abuse y'all, and then complain about, my mom and dad don't spend no time with me. So to sit here and say, Oh boy, like I said, this is a rant, people. And then the other comment you made, you said it's little wonder why blacks were enslaved so easily. If you're so great and powerful, why did whites look for assistance in the first place? I mean, it's little wonder why you didn't refuse to buy blacks in order to help build a country that you've taken from the Indians. Hmm? I mean, it's such a contradiction how you want black people to take responsibility, but you don't want to take responsibility for the state in which you guys are in or the state in which this country is in, nor you take responsibility of being the driving force as to why there's inequality in this country. Why the hell, when I sign an application, I have to check for black? Why can't it just be American male or American female? Why do we have to check if we're black, white, Hispanic, native? Huh? So really, who started inequality? As I said, who came up with signs who said for whites only? Who came up with sending black people in the back and sending white people in the front? Who came up with this water fountain is for whites only? Come on, man. Seriously, who came? Come on. Why do you, and another comment you made was, why do black people think about being black 24/7? Why do you think black people think about being black 24/7? Because white people do. They have and they always will. You have white people who don't want it equal. You have white people whenever there's something negative going on, instead of looking at all races of having this issue, they always want to point to black people's imperfections and not as a whole. So yeah, whites are racist as well. And it's funny that you label us black, but then you have a problem when we accept what was given to us. We have no choice but to remind ourselves that we're black because you, Mr. White Man, keep reminding us that. You want to blame blacks as if our 13% population was the sole reason Obama became president. That's the shit that gets me. And just ignore that majority of his voters were white. You know, in the comment, you guys voted for Obama because he's black. Al Sharpton ran for president. The majority of black people voted for Al Sharpton when he ran for president? Hello? Did anybody? I mean, if I recall, this was my third time voting, so I did vote for a candidate who was white in the past. If it was really about race, then I would never have voted in the first place. When I turned 18, I would never have voted if that were true. I mean, white people. I mean, that's like saying white people vote in these elections because the candidates are white. You guys voted for Bill Clinton or George Bush because they're white. So, man, like, get the fuck out of here with that dumb shit y'all speaking, man. Y'all can go to somebody else with that nonsense, but don't come to Macadon with that because I will smack that shit down like a pimp smacks a hoe down, alright? And also, if I recall, Obama is biracial. That's the thing that gets me when these people are, do you vote for Obama because he's black? Well, motherfucker, did white people vote for Obama because he's part white? Oh, gosh. Like I said, if did y'all vote for Bush because he's white or because he was a so-called Jesus is my Lord and Savior Christian? I mean, there's no disagreeing that black people's mindsets are jacked up. You know, I mean, you're not gonna get no disagreements from me on that. But it's no worse than white people who share who are in the same boat as blacks. You know, y'all always want to pick this majority. Majority y'all do this. Majority y'all do that. I mean, hell, if I was to look up information, you will find that white people are in jail. You will find white people are in poverty. You will find white people who are homeless. You have white people who have diseases. You have white people who are deadbeats. So come the fuck on with that bullshit. You always talk about black people commit hate crimes. White people commit hate crimes. Like, dude, you can't talk about shit and you gotta look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Can we get more stories on white people and their imperfections too? It's not just black people. I mean, if someone were to ask me, delusional whiteness is the downfall of this society. And that's all I got to say, man. I'm gone.